enemy cowards run! Drive them! Ready! Victory is yours! And no one can argue that it is not both well-deserved.
Oh wow, the MantisShrimp. Is that who I think it is? It has to be who I think it is. How's this game faring? It was going well at first, and then, for whatever reason, I just cannot stop the onslaught of bloody Seleucid and Armenian soldiers. Like, they just keep coming no matter what. Good God. I cannot help myself.
Mighty General!
Other than that, I'm having fun. Well, I kind of am. I mean, if I wasn't gonna lose this city, I would be having more fun. Yeah, very hard, very hard. The enemy gets some battlefield and bonuses, is what I know at the very least.
Mighty General!
Like, it wouldn't be a problem if my units didn't suck all the A word in the game, but they do. They're just bad. I think those are the guys I just beat over here. They marched quite a long way. So he's got 4 and 11. I would love to retrain these guys.
Sire!
Yeah, it is. I'm playing as Pontus. We started off with just Sinop and Mazakia. Got buildings you can build. You've got all sorts of buildings you can build. Both military for trade and culture, and some religious buildings for orders, bonuses to public order and population growth, it would seem, or experience or morale. And, you know, it's the whole map of Europe and the Middle East and Far East here of Europe. That's about as far as it goes. I'm just working my way through the factions, as you can see. Right now, Pontus is next on the list because they're on the hard. They're classified as hard. So. About to lose this to the Greek city-states we just landed. So that's not great. Oh, that's okay. Play whatever you like. Michael, I'm happy you found something you enjoy. I'm not really sure what to do here. I'm low on money and I'm gonna lose this town. And I don't think this army can take on these guys, is the problem.
Sire! Mighty General! Forward! Mighty General!
It sucks.
Mighty General!
Oh.
Mighty
Well,
General!
good for you.
Mighty General!
I'm happy for you. Just keep struggling. We'll get there eventually. Not great. I got laid off recently, so I've just been kind of sitting at home looking for a job. So, in that sense, as you can see, I've got the time of day to do this, but I'd much rather be bloody at work for most of the day than this. I mean, as you can see, I've grown my following to 18 followers on Twitch and like 8 subscribers on YouTube, but that's not very successful in my book. I mean, these games aren't very exciting. I mean, Total War Rome is originally from 2004. Battlefield 4 I'm playing also is originally from 2013. Ugh. 5 to 9 hours a week. Gosh. Yeah, in that sense, I'm lucky. I've got a lot of free time. Free time to not look for
Sire.
work, but free time nonetheless. Yeah, Battlefield 4 came out in 2013, in case you've forgotten. Good times, but not long for this world.
My liege.
Okay. I'm gonna move along here. Yeah, Masaki is gone. No, it's not. It's the same as Battlefield Hardline, Battlefield 1, and Battlefield 5. It's all from, like, the same menu. Like, if you have all the games installed, you can weirdly, like, play the different games from the same, like, main menu. It's kind of interesting. I don't know if you've played, like, Battlefield's... the most recent Battlefield games.
Sire! Sire, orders? Move out!
Yeah, it was just Battlefield 3 that was weirdly
Sire!
like that. Yeah, every turn, a settlement besieged, a settlement occupied. Are you kidding me? This kid was purchased? Oh my god, that's perfect. That's hilarious.
Orders?
Greatest game ever made. You get access to the Battlefield 2042 beta. Were you invited by somebody?
Mighty General! Orders?
Oh, dang. It's pretty cool. I'm glad you keep up with that stuff. I don't really much care for betas and whatnot, I have to admit.
Orders? Run for your lives!
It's been exactly that kind of game. That's hilarious. The auto-resolve is in my favor and I'm still losing it. Okay.
Orders? 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 My lead! Mighty General! Orders? 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 Move out! Army. Orders? Onward! Orders? Mighty General!
Does I have movement? I think he has movement. Okay. Huh. Yeah, I guess you can't trust firms to fix their game before the beta launches. So
Orders?
I guess that's as far as that goes.
My liege.
Oh. Wow. Oh my gosh. Good for you. I tried Marvel Rivals, but I found it kind of boring. Sorry.
Orders? Mighty General. Sire!
Yeah, life has hit kind of a low point in recent weeks. I must admit. I was planning on buying a friggin' 4060 graphics card. I checked the price today and it rose like $100 or something like that on Amazon. It used to be $300, now it's like $400 from every single vendor. That's got me bummed because I imagine that has something to do with trade tariffs in recent months. It only rose in the past couple of weeks too, so I was planning on buying it sometime in the spring, if not soon, and the price just happened to rise on me $100. Yeah, but it used to be 300. I don't know if 400 something is bad, but 300 was a good value. Now the value's totally gone. It's a complete mess.
Sire.
My liege.
Do anything over here. I just have to recruit these units and hope that I can get a man of the hour here. I don't even know. I didn't keep up with 1080 prices like 10 years ago. You're gonna have to excuse me.
We are besieged. Orders. Attack!
Yes, these legendary horse archers is the problem. I can't beat them.
Orders.
March! My liege.
Okay, I'm ready to give up on this campaign. These units are absolutely fucking worthless. Alright. I gotta try it again. I will sometimes do that. I need to learn how the faction actually works, and then the second time around I do much better. I did that with Parthia, and I think... not just Parthia. But yeah, I gotta learn the Pontus better. Alright. It's in moments like these I'm glad I don't have any dedicated viewers or followers, because I kind of suck. Back to the 1080s. Yeah, $600 is insane. I don't know who would pay that amount of money for a 1080 graphics card. I don't know. I don't know why. I mean, it seems like you would just logically purchase the best value graphics card and that's it. Alright. Take 2 is gonna go a lot better. Yeah. People do not watch me because I'm good. You saw me friggin' auto-resolve over there, so that's gonna go into the dump. But it's alright. I've done a lot of these successfully. I've done one... well, streaming I've done one... I didn't stream Macedon, I didn't stream Egypt. 1, 2, 3, 4 successes. Eventually I'm gonna get all these done too. It's just a matter of knowing what my strengths and weaknesses are. But I guess every day's a little battle. Oh. Okay, yeah. It's important to have fun, and good for you. I hope you can stream Marvel Rivals. You seem to be passionate about that. I'm sorry that we've grown apart in terms of the games we like. I have to admit, I don't think we play many of the same games. Now the campaign in this game, it takes like, gosh, if I were to look at my channel, let's see here. My previous campaign took 4, 5.5, 5.5. That's what, 15 hours, 19 hours. Yeah, my previous campaign with the Greek cities took 19 hours. So, yeah, they take a while, because you've got to conquer like 50 provinces on the map, as you saw, which is a lot, including Rome. Rome province itself. There's a lot of building every turn. The game takes like 130 turns for me to beat, usually. Sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less, but yeah, it's like if you take a minute a turn, if you take like 4 minutes a turn on average in a battle, that's gonna take you a while, right there. Michael, if you want to play Battlefield 4, do you have Battlefield 4 on PC? Let's see here. Battlefield 4. You don't, I'm afraid. Crap. Let's see. Battlefield 4 Premium Edition is currently $2 if you wanted to play that ever. I'm looking at it right now on Steam, and we could play that together. I mean, if you wanted, like, I stream it, so if you wanted to join the stream, it could be you and me in there. I don't know how you feel about that. I mean, we played Battlefield 3 in the past, so Battlefield 4 is is a slightly upgraded version of Battlefield 3 in my book. Fragpunk. Let's see, what is Fragpunk here? 5v5 hero shooter where shard cards allow you to break the rules of combat and ensure that no two rounds are ever the same. Get ready to unleash your skills. Oh, it's just card decks. Oh, wait a minute. No, it's not. Oh, you're actually shooting each other. Let's see, how big is this? 40 gigabytes. Oh, alright. Guess I'll have to give it a shot. Okay. Well, that's an interesting gimmick. Where it's due. I guess I can download it and give it a shot. 32 gigabytes, alright. Not bad. Okay. I'll give it a shot, sure. Guess I've got no more left to do here. This campaign turned out to be a dud, but I gotta end it here. I guess if you're not interested in Battlefield 4, I understand. I'm playing Rainbow Six Siege. I don't know how you feel about that. Oh, Yakuza Pirates. Let's see. Oh, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. Okay. I don't know if you ever wanted to try Rainbow Six Siege, but it's there. What's wrong with Uplay? I mean, it obviously takes like a minute to launch the game, which is annoying, but I guess you get used to it. It also takes just as long to launch Apex Legends nowadays, I noticed. So, seems like something I just have to put up with every time. Other than that, I don't know what's wrong with Uplay. Aside from it just, I don't know, just annoying you to have to make an account. In Siege, I'm trying to rank up to get to level 50 to actually play competitive and ranked to see how I do in there. Oh, what do you mean by heavy? Like, too much stuff to learn? Oh, okay. Yeah, you like those more. Yeah, that's true. Oh, okay. Gosh. That's good. I guess I like those grounded tactical more shooters. That's alright. Oh yeah, I totally agree. I'm completely burnt out on CS Go and 2 and I mean Rainbow Six Siege is almost the same exact game. It's like you wait around a corner and you die and you have to wait 2 minutes watching other people to play. I'm not really into that as much as I was back in 2014, 15 when I was getting into CS:GO. So Rainbow Six Siege probably isn't going to overtake anything in particular. I'm probably just going to play it for a little bit and then that'll be the end of that. I don't blame you. The most fun I ever had in CS was trolling people. I wish I was streaming back then. Like, see, I said that to myself when I started streaming back in November. I wish I started doing this years ago. Just all that legendary content has been lost to the ages. Ah. Oh. Doomfist hitting Diags. Ah. Good for you. I imagine that's something that takes skill, so that's very good. Oh. Oh. Alright. Requires it requires a working mind to be trick shotting in Overwatch 2, it sounds like. Alright. Well, I'm glad you can find things that still interest you. Oh, okay. Wait, isn't that aren't those games just button mashing games? Like, aren't those games still like two-dimensional button mashing experiences? How do you transfer those skills into Overwatch and Marvel Rivals? Do I have it wrong? Are those not, Oh, okay. Oh, okay. League of Legends. Gosh. You still play League of Legends? Oh, jeez. League of Legends is like an addiction, man. You gotta stop. Okay, that's good. I took years off of CS2, CSGO between like 2020 and 2024. Oh my gosh. Heroin's a great way of putting it. Uh, I mean, I have to admit, I never saw the appeal of League of Legends, but I don't know. If it's similar to Total War, then maybe I've been missing out all these years. That's on me then. Oh, wow. I thought you just got on the hype train back in like 2010 when the game was taking off. Yeah, back in the middle school days. Sauce on some kids? Is that what people are calling it? I had never heard that. Oh my gosh. Sauce on some kids. Oh my gosh. Meanwhile, life is at a low point for me in recent months. Recent weeks, I should say. Oh, sounds like you had fun. I'm surprised they played that back in middle school. God, it sounds just... Wow, peer pressure took over, huh? There's nothing wrong with that as long as you... I don't know, it seems like you generally enjoyed the game, so there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, I've heard good things about Arcane. Like, I haven't watched it, but I've heard good things. They made an appearance at the Game Awards. They won something for being a good show, so good for Arcane. Sephora partnered with Arcane. How did that happen? What sort of products are we talking about here? It's Sephora partner with Arcane. I gotta look this up myself. Oh, okay. Oh, it's not, I don't know. Yeah, I'm looking at lip gloss right now, and I don't see how this is a collaboration. I could not tell any of these characters. Oh, huh. How's that gonna work? Is there a large market of people who want arcane Sephora like makeup? Never heard of this. I mean, for your mom's sake, I hope there is, but I hope that goes somewhere. Well, okay, that doesn't. I don't know if that necessarily means there's a market for it. It just sounds like that. It just sounds like downtown kind of sucks to live in and work in. Okay, if you say so. I haven't heard of this. I don't know how big this is. I don't really interact with women in my day-to-day, I have to admit, so I would not know whether or not Sephora arcane makeup is the thing to be using in 2025. Yeah, I can't say anything. Who knows? Gosh. Apparently, Rainbow Six Siege has partnered with the Amazons to make skins for the boys for some of the legend I noticed. Like, wow, here's Homelander, here's Black Noir, here's A-Train in the game. It's pretty interesting. I mean, same thing with Arcane as with the boys. Like, the first season was great, second season was kind of lost its way a little bit. Yeah, for Rainbow Six Siege, they apparently partnered with Amazon, and there are the boys skins in the game for some of the legends. You can look it up. Oh, do not take my word for that, but I've seen it with my own eyes. I've seen Homelander in there. I've seen A-Train. I've seen the Black Noir. Oh my gosh. Well, yeah, I'm current on the boys, and I don't know. Season 4 is kind of kind of the downfall of the show a little bit. It's becoming a mid show. Started out as a phenomenal show, and season 3 was like the last good season, and season 4 now is kind of brought it down to above average level. It's not great anymore, but above average is fine. It's good enough for me. I'm still gonna watch season 5, but I remember being more hyped for it back in the season 1 days of 2019 or 20, whenever season 1 came out. Oh gosh, that is a good idea. Um, I'm probably not gonna. I don't know when I'll try Fragpunk, but I'll try it. I'll see if I like it. I don't know how much I'll like. I don't know how much I'll like play it, but I'll certainly try out Fragpunk, and we can give that a shot. But I have to admit, I wasn't really installing it right now. You're gonna have to excuse me if I made it seem like I was. Repo. Repo. What is repo? Oh, REP. Oh, I see. Early access game. Oh, wow. Looks interesting. Oh gosh. Up to 6 players. I'm afraid I don't have hmm. Oh, alright. Do you have anybody to play this with? Because I would happily play with you. It's not a problem. Okay, repo. Yeah, I'll give this a shot. Came out February 26th. I gotta get more money in my Steam wallet at the moment. Oh. 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 Well, it's good that you hung on to all those cases. You can buy the game for free. Gosh, I regret selling all those cases for like 3 cents back in the day. I should have just held on to those. That was a mistake. Yeah. And I play CS2 like every weekend for 2.5 hours because it drops you a crate every week now. And some of those crates are worth like $2 or so there's some money to be made there. Oh gosh, that is just shameful. Shameful of me to know. I mean, I always sold them immediately because I never had any faith in them that they would ever have any value, but okay, apparently items worth 3 cents or might eventually become worth something one day. Huh. You know what? Maybe I'll remove some of my TF2 item listings. Maybe some of these 3-cent crates will be worth something one day. Maybe I should make the same move for TF2 cosmetic cases. I'm doing that right now. Speak of the devil. Yeah, Valve is a sucky corporation. I don't much blame you for getting in on that. Like, you're one of many people. I mean, apparently I've heard people have made money off of CSGO, so... Yeah, I remember you told me about that guy. Like his luck was insane, apparently. Gosh. Do you keep in contact with that guy? How do you know that? Do you see his profile or something? Like, does he have any way to liquidate CS inventory junk into real life money? It seems like he'd better get on that pretty soon. Dude, who is this guy? I want to see this guy. Who is he on your Steam profile? I'll take a look at him right now. So who is it on your Steam profile? Let me take a look. I mean, I might not be able to see actually who it is because like I'm not friends with him. He might have set his privacy to friends only, but I'd be open to seeing this myself. Sinister. Okay. Is his Steam username Cinegang? Is it the guy with a green cake in the profile picture? What the heck? Can't you just type me his Steam profile name? I mean, I get that you might have a nickname for him, but I can't see this guy on your account. Oh, I see him. Oh, there he is. Okay. Yeah, I got it. Sorry about that. Their inventory is private, so I can't see anything you're talking about. Oh, man. Well, heck. Yeah, I see it. Oh my lord, I'm looking at it right now. Good God. Oh, this guy, I don't know. I don't know how this guy's gonna liquidate all this junk that he's collected. He's got 35 pages of CS2 items now. Good lord. He's gotta sell his stuff on like third-party websites that'll convert his sales into cash. Oh, he's got even more. What is this? Stockholm 2021 Mirage souvenir package. What is this? I don't even know that was a thing. Okay. I guess those are so are these things that you have to like watch the CS tournaments or something? Like, how do you get some of these items? I felt like you had to like watch the tournament to earn this souvenir package. Huh. Yeah, I guess he's okay. Well, I guess he's having a great time. Good lord. I don't know how he gets this many crates. I would love to get this many crates. Operation missions. Oh, okay. Have there been any CS2 operations? Karambit Fade, $8,000. Yeah, you'd better sell that thing, man. Oh my lord. This guy's gonna be able to buy a new car with all this junk. And I regret not paying money for some of the operations from CSGO back in the day. Oh, oh god. I'm sorry to hear that, Michael. Yeah, the country's a massive scam. The country needs a communist revolution. I don't know. I don't know why people keep voting for the same politicians. They're too old. They're capitalists. They fundamentally agree with each other on 90% of issues. Oh, that sounds like fun. Good excuse to get out of the house and meet some rich people's kids. That's pretty cool. I hope you like them anyway. Roblox items. Holy hell. What are they doing? God, that is such a scam. I don't know. I don't believe any of these digital items should have any worth at all. I mean, these digital markets need to be completely abolished. I don't like this crap at all. That's another reason I sold my 3-cent crates back in like between 2014 and 2020. It's because I didn't care much at all about this digital market crap. All I cared about was it giving me money to be able to buy whatever crappy game I wanted. Of which I didn't. I think I eventually only bought like Total War or something. It's the only game I actually ended up buying. Civilization 6 I bought recently. Last year, anyway. Ugh, that's kind of insane. Wow. Wow. That is totally insane. Were they in the. You mean to say they were in the Army or Marines or something like that? Or Navy? That's totally nasty. I don't know why that is a thing. That's so disgusting. Good lord. Oh my god. That is disgusting. In a bad way. I do not mean that in a good way. That is not what people should be doing with their time and money and lives, to say the least. Yeah, it's totally insane. Oh, that's right. Server link. Alright, alright, let's see what's going on in here. Sorry, the music. Well, that was some nice music. Good for you. What is this server all about? I'm sorry, I couldn't even hear you over the music. You're gonna have to excuse me. What is this all about? Is this just, is there a description of some sort I can see? Oh, crap. Oh, that's right, I forgot you could do that. That's embarrassing, I'm sorry. Okay, I should be able to hear you just fine now.
I can mute you on the stream now, so that way it doesn't echo.
Good
But
idea.
yeah, that's my bad. I was just trying to put the comment with soft gold. It came in, and then I forgot that you know that you could right click the bot to slide it down.
That's my bad. So, what is the point of the server?
It's just like a old D&D server that I repurposed as just like a gaming server to sometimes invite friends to or whatever whenever we're doing stuff. Usually me and my friend Ryan just use it when we're doing some nights. When he gets back from working at the gas pumps in Oregon, with this interesting friend that's up there is like having a really depressing life and is like suicidally depressed. So I just
God.
got to try to be like a good mentor to him or whatever. I'll talk to other people in my day to day.
Oh, good for you. Giving back to the community. That's more than I can say, I'm afraid.
Dude had like a heroin addict as a father when he was a kid that things like parents had him at 16. I'm like, yeah, no, that's a rough start, dude. I get it.
Holy hell. Yeah, that's terrible. Man, we haven't spoken in so long. Good lord. It is refreshing to
And
hear your voice.
likewise, man. I've just been so swamped with like gig work and going all over the city constantly and not having enough money still while trying to like network and stuff. And it's just been not the most fun avenue to go into for sure.
Not at all. Speaking of gig work, like I'm looking for a job, as I said, I've been laid off, and all I can bloody find are these like contract jobs which last a year, and then you're supposed to look for your next job because I have no faith in the company, renewing the contract or converting you to full time.
Are these for biotech or are these for
Well, I was looking for materials engineering, but I haven't been able to find anything. Like you send your application to recruiters and they just don't respond to you, and then you just assume you didn't get the job after like 2 weeks. So that's annoying. I mean,
yeah. I mean, at least you have a degree. I
yeah.
totally didn't get that. I was basically living as like a Renaissance man, apprenticing under PhD scientists at the Exploratorium, and I don't have any fucking like certificate from that that proves that I was like trained by like NASA engineers and Adam Savage from MythBusters and all these people I worked with, but
Wow, really?
I ended up like what do you call it, either retiring or not being able to give me letters of rec necessarily, or
Ah,
some of them that like mentored me or whatever, but they didn't see me actually like in the field as much because they were busy themselves, so they can't like attest to what like I know in certain circumstances, or some of them that went on to become like the head of the Marine Mammal Center in Oakland and like, zoologists and biologists that I worked with in the lab that ended up pivoting to like politics or other sectors.
yeah.
And
College degrees are a massive overhyped thing. Like you shouldn't need one as much if you can just prove that you can do other things.
I think I also went to like the equivalent of probably like 500 TED Talks that we hosted on Thursday nights at the museum over the course of like the eight and a half years I worked there. So like
Wow, you stayed there a while.
I feel like even when I was going there on my days off and volunteering and just like going in to learn shit and teach the masses, I did so much like work for free and just like studying to sequester knowledge that it's both a good thing and a bad thing. So I don't really have like anything to show for it at the end except for the knowledge.
I wish you could become a
Like,
professor of some sort or instructor of some sort.
yeah, I've been doing a little bit of substitute teaching in the past few years at high schools and
What's
middle
that
schools.
like?
It's okay.
That sounds miserable. I remember we were such bitches to every substitute teacher. I feel so bad for them now.
Uh, now
What?
I'm getting my comeuppance by going back to give back.
God, it sounds
I mean, I
miserable.
substitute taught a couple of college lectures too, for like philosophy at SF State.
Wow, they let you do that? Okay. Did you
That
know the
was
instructor or something?
I'm friends with some philosophy instructors there, and we do stuff for like their philosophy club. So
That's
we
really
just
cool.
kind of, I just like demoed it at the philosophy club at SF State that I'm a part of, even though I don't go to that college. I just join other colleges' clubs at like Stanford or SF State and lecture on things that I'm interested in that I used to teach at the Exploratorium when I had like stage stuff that I did for them because I used to like do lectures in the forum that were like hour long for like
Wow.
500 people audiences.
Why didn't I ever
And
attend one of these lectures? Good lord. I wish I was there. I regret not going.
I feel like I didn't really like do a good job of advertising to my friends when I was doing this. I was like, it's just work. It doesn't matter that much. It's just I'm just gonna be laying on a board of needles doing a physics demonstration where people walk across me. That's not that fun. Or swinging a bowling ball and a pendulum to show the period of it, almost hitting me in the face. And then be
Oh.
like Kristen physics and stuff like that, and all those like normal like Walter Lewin type like physics demonstrations that like the Harvard professor would do or whatever that I'd steal inspiration from. There's stuff from like colony collapse disorder and like agriculture and stuff when I was learning in city college, and then basically just taking everything I was researching on my midterms and final term papers or whatever and transferring that into like demonstrations for the public.
Uh-huh.
And it's just hard to like not have that anymore because I got so used to like the extroversion. The
The,
past few years without it, I feel like I just became so much more introverted and like shy without that platform with like that safe space of being backed by an institution. I have a different feeling.
I don't know what that would feel like. I'm afraid I have never felt extroverted, but it sounds like you enjoyed lecturing, so I'm sorry you don't have
Like
that anymore.
I feel like I'm like ambiverted. There's definitely times where like I want to like be alone, but there's also just moments where I think like, oh, but I learned so much from so many different people, and I'm wasting my like knowledge if I'm not giving it back to someone or like teaching or something. It's like there's all these cool, weird things that I learned from all these various artists and scientists and musicians in the city or whatever. I can try to find ways to like, affordably get some of that same kind of like exposure. And
I,
definitely after like being single for 2 years or like a year and a half or so, I feel like I've had more time to like work on me finally. And that kind of helped a bit again, with just like reigniting certain passions and stuff that I've had to put on the back burner because relationships were so like time consuming. Especially mine. Like I shot myself in the foot. I don't know why I gave myself so much depression and stress by having a savior complex and like dating suicidally depressed women with bipolar disorders.
yeah, whatever happened to those
I,
women? Did they
I,
ever
I,
actually ended up doing it, you know?
uh, one of them committed suicide. I don't know if the other ones have.
Oh shit. Okay,
But
that's
I'm just
shit.
like I
My
feel
bad.
like I played life on like ultra nightmare mode right out of high school. I was like, why did I do this?
Yeah, I
And I
mean,
died, and now I'm just like working in therapy like twice a week to like understand my PTSD and all this stuff still
what
after like two
for
years to just like decompartmentalize like the stuff that I've like hid deep in the recesses of like my 5T2P section of the I think medulla oblongata is where like stress and like PTSD is this certain serotonin receptor that's near the hippocampus, but like in the hindbrain that deals with like emotional responses and stuff like that. I used to have to teach about some like neuroscience based stuff, and I like use that to like psychoanalyze myself. Read some freaking Freud and Jung, and then started reading like a bunch of philosophy with my philosopher friends. Got really into existentialism for a bit. I've been on that grind for like past 3, 4 years during the pandemic when I was kind of isolated and feeling the effects of it too. I definitely feel like it helped to have Kierkegaard as the introduction to philosophy that I really got into because he's the father of existentialism
uh-huh.
from or no, yeah, he's Danish. He's from Denmark in like the 1810s, 1820s.
I've
He's
heard of
like
them.
very against the church. He believes in God, but he believes like that like if God is everywhere, you don't have to pay money to like worship or whatever. He was against like the nefarious feelings of like the Catholic Church constantly taking like money from the poor to provide them
Yeah, good for him. He was ahead
civil
of his
rights of
time.
worship or whatever. And he was like, I got God at home, you do too. And he got ostracized by the church and like excommunicated from his hometown and shit for writing philosophy about like being a knight of true resignation who repents and that all you really need to find solace is understanding that you're burdened at birth with original sin from like the Garden of Eden, from like the apple of knowledge, and that once you're aware of this, that your anxiety has to be shed from you by surrendering yourself fully before God on your own terms in your own place of like being constantly, and that like sinning is okay so long as you make amends by repenting and like understanding what you've done is wrong. So that way you can like overcome that anguish because like a lot of anxiety turns into despair once you can't rectify what you've done in life or the problems and the ills that you've caused others. That
Hmm.
like eat away at your mental and stuff. And he has this very interesting series of two essays that are like 70-ish pages back to back. One called The Concept of Anxiety, which is the introduction to it, and then his like magnum opus that is often quoted, which is The Sickness Unto Death. So I always try to like promote that to friends in times of like despair or whatever to understand that like this 20 something year old Danish dude who was going through it and feeling like potentially suicidal at one point in his life, who came to the realization how to get around that with theology and studies and fully surrendering himself to God, but not like going to church obsessively on like Sundays or whatever and spending his time unwisely. He thought it was more important for him as an academic to like go to the university and write his essays and then like repent at night and pray in his own time and stuff and not have to like adhere to all the strict rules of religion. But I think with like religion's slight revitalism right now, at a time where it's needed, where so many like Reddit atheists are so insufferable, it's kind of punk rock right now to be Christian in one way or another. Like if you're a Kierkegaardian Christian, I think a little bit more so than like a Mark Wahlberg Hallow app subscriber Christian. Did you see the recent news after the Super Bowl about that $70 per year annual Catholic prayer app that charges people to pray to get into heaven, and if you try to cancel your subscription, it tries to guilt trip you into thinking that you'll seek eternal damnation in hell
Oh
if
my
you
gosh.
unsubscribe.
I have not heard about that at all. Oh,
That's some insane
that
shit.
that is a
Honestly, it's
scam of
beautiful.
scams. Oh my
Like
lord.
it's so weird that like Mark Wahlberg is the poster child of it, where he like
Yeah, why would
makes these TikToks for Catholics, where he's like stay prayed up, and he tries to make Catholicism seem like cool and hip.
what? I don't know. Mark Wahlberg seems like morally not so upstanding
Yeah, he used to
individual.
beat up gay people when he was a teenager or whatever and
Yeah,
shit.
we
Like,
didn't ever do that. We never did anything near that.
but also like that's pretty Catholic.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, that
I
is in
see why they
character.
chose him a little bit.
Yeah, they probably behind the scenes were like right wing, super conservative people.
Someone who's gay hating enough to like
Yeah.
support of right wing like Catholics or whatever, but also has like a public image where he's a poster child of being like hot and nice, and he used to like show his dick in boogie nights. We can trust this guy.
Oh, is that what he did? Is that a real thing?
There's a movie in like the 90s where he says like in the mirror like I'm a star, and he's like unzipping his pants and showing his big old dick.
Wow, I did not know that.
Porn star or whatever, or like a stripper or something in that movie.
Did not know that about Mark Wahlberg, his movie career.
Like I got too many weird like factoids for my like background in cinema studies, as well as like just working with interesting artists at the museum that would just teach me stuff from their generation or whatever. When we'd have like happy hours or like work after parties. I think they also just really miss that like company culture where you just have so many tools at your disposal to make shit after work, and I don't know, we'd race like little tiny like go-kart like things that we'd sell in the gift shop that were like two-wheeled vehicles with like a steering wheel that was supposed to be like a physics demonstration vehicle from one end of the museum to the other after we close up the museum down the main halls of the galleries and shit and hold races and have like in-house breweries called Hoppenheimer where we brew our own alcohol with like the science labs and stuff to see who can make better. Well,
So,
'cause as
well,
someone who doesn't drink either, I just thought it was like kind of cool to learn the process.
I'm
There's like so
glad,
many different weird things that you could do.
Michael. I'm glad you had fun, but I greatly regret that all these people they moved on to other things. But I'm afraid you, as you said, you did not get your bachelor's degree, and
I don't even have my associate's deal too. Like,
that's not important. Just the transferring to get a bachelor's degree is more important.
yeah, so now I just have to find a way to like pick up the pieces. I'm thinking of pivoting more towards the zoology in general for bio. But also like,
Um,
dude, like I feel like growing up in the city and also doing biotech classes made me such a germaphobe that part of me knows that like whatever I choose as my model organism, I want to make sure that I'm not somewhere stranded in like the wilderness because I'm not built yet to fight a bear or mountain lion off if I'm like camping out in the fucking like wilderness looking at Chinook salmon or something.
yeah, yeah. I've also heard that biotech there's not a lot of jobs in there to begin with, so I would recommend something more, I don't know,
It's sad that
physics
like
based.
that zoology sciences right now don't pay that well. I was trying
Yeah.
to apply to the Academy of Sciences, and they need someone like to handle their rattlesnakes and other like reptiles and stuff, and like clean out the fish tanks in the giant like rainforest exhibit, and then also have to get a scuba certification for that job, and it's like $50,000 a year, and you're like working with like constantly life-threatening animals. you got you got to handle venomous animals. You got to like move the stingrays and shit. Jump into the coral tank and like teach underwater. And I'm like, oh, it seems like fun, but also it's like I'm gonna be so tired. And like,
Uh,
if I'm not focused enough and medicated for my ADHD, I could just like get bit by a rattlesnake and not like notice or whatever, and have to be hyper vigilant. That feels like that job should pay more than like the marketing jobs that pay like $100,000 at that company or whatever.
I didn't know marketing paid that much, but otherwise, yeah, it takes a certain type of person to take those types of roles, and I am not one of them. But I would also recommend that you not be one of them because that sounds very dangerous.
Yeah. I also want to like send someone out to Madagascar, and it's like that's kind of cool. And, like, but then you have to like camp out in Madagascar like jungles for 3 months. And like, can I survive the Madagascarian jungle
Yeah, it sounds
for
miserable. Good
like
lord.
$6,000 for 3 months of work? And I'm like, that's not enough.
Yeah,
Get paid less than like bagging groceries at Safeway to like go live in a jungle and get mauled by a pusa.
yeah. Oh,
But it's like a cool story at the same time where I'm like I'm trying to do stand up comedy and be like, oh, it'd be crazy if I survive and come back and then make that a set or like a couple sets.
that would be cool, but I can't really relate to that. I have to admit, if that speaks to you, then go for it. But just be careful, of course.
Like I've already gone to the South Pole and like I still have my toes. Or we went to the Sportron flew us out to Antarctica to like the ice box out there for like a research thing
Oh wow,
for like a week. I got to like see the aurora borealis and shit, and then
wow.
reluctantly like didn't bring my phone
Oh,
for some reason. I don't know why. Like I think I was just like they're like I gotta fly us out and stuff, and like I think I was afraid of like losing it somewhere in the ice. And, like I
I
was like
mean,
knowing me I'm clumsy. Maybe
I'm
I'll just leave it behind and like focus on things that are like essential. I was like I need hot hands. I need like thermal socks and stuff. And like I'm not gonna get frostbite.
Yeah, that is much more practical. So, okay, the phone isn't really that important in the long
I
run.
was like I have a satellite radio or something. It'll be fine. So like I don't know, there's just things I'm trying to check off my bucket list, and I'm trying to think logically. Like, well, we're in our 20s, right? We gotta like, if we're gonna go big and actually do something interesting in science, you gotta do it while you're like at like your peak physical fitness at least, or like while you're younger. So that way,
Yeah.
like you don't have like back problems, or you can maybe like fight off an animal or something versus like doing it in your 40s or 50s when it's harder.
Uh-huh.
I'm also like, well, like, do I want to die younger, potentially,
I mean, is there
or die
even
more horrifically when I'm older?
going back to that cell phone idea? Is there even any cell signal in Antarctica?
I don't think so. I think it's all radios that they use.
Oh yeah, then you would have just had
I
to.
think this satellite, yeah. But I wanted to take pictures and I totally forgot to.
That's okay. I
I
believe
think I
you.
was like I should have brought a camera or something, but I was too focused on like living. I was
No,
like,
that's
I'll live in the
okay.
moment, it'll be fine.
It sounds like you had fun, and it sounds like it made an impression on you in the positive sense. So I'm glad that you had that experience. Wait, did you have to pay for that at all?
No, it was company sponsored or whatever. They just needed like an eager applicant, and I think I was like 22 or 23 at the time. So I was like, oh, I'm young enough to do it now.
Okay.
It
Wait a
was
minute.
neat.
So
But
we talking about the exploratorium at the Embarcadero over there?
yeah, when I was working there, they had certain scientists that sometimes would come in from like NOAA or um, the other major. I think like sometimes NASA does stuff with the iceberg because it's both meteorology
Oh,
that falls under NOAA and NASA.
the weather
But,
service.
but they needed like some climate data and stuff on the ice sheets, man. Like, um,
Well, I'm glad they had you to give it a shot.
yeah, they wanted to like collect data and see how the atmosphere and the ozone was doing based on greenhouse gas emissions and like potential ozone holes that were being formed because of like increased carbon levels and stuff that would risk damaging the ozone to an irreparable level by like 2050, where enough nitrogen and oxygen could escape that it could potentially suffocate parts of the planet if it continued to tear
Oh,
and like lose the gases inside of the exosphere that holds it together inside those like magnetic field lines up
oh.
there when I was learning about it.
I thought
It
that
was kind of like
ozone.
fascinating.
I thought that ozone situation was resolved back in like the 1990s or something. No?
Yeah, well, like I think there was like some spikes or whatever before the pandemic hit,
Oh,
where like it repaired more over the pandemic for sure when like things had to go on lockdown. And I remember there being like the first year in 2020 pandemic or something like a huge amount of like fixes, but there's still some like holes that were propagating again due to this industrialism in like Southeast Asia that was like increasing because of like outsourcing of labor, especially with like fast fashion and textile industry stuff, and, like chemical pollutants in the water that have like ocean acidification rippling effects, and then the greenhouse gases acting together. And they're also doing like water testing to see if there are any like microplastics and other like phthalates and stuff like that that are making its way through the Great Pacific Garbage Patch and affecting like the local like walrus and seal populations, as well as like the penguin and stuff. Being able to see penguin like up close was kind of cool. They're like,
well, I mean, they're also at the zoo, so, don't, I mean,
yeah, it's not the same. They don't look as depressed when they're in the Antarctic.
oh, they're like, are they larger over there as well? Like, the ones at the zoo are really small.
Like for penguins too, yeah, they're much bigger.
Oh, I see, okay. They weren't dangerous or anything, were they?
People.
Okay, that's good.
The leopard seals really think is like kind of like dangerous. They have to be wary of.
Oh,
Technically, orcas can kill human beings, but there's no actual like report of anyone like being eaten by one. But like they like torture and murdered so many animals in the ocean that like I respect them, but also fear them at the same time for what they're capable of. I think they're a fascinating organism to like learn more about, but they are kind of scary. Except for Shamu. Shamu is so depressed that I just feel bad for him, and I'm like, he has too small of a tank. I see why he was depressed.
uh-huh.
Like someone forcing you to live in like an SRO for your entire life. Shamu was not living his best life.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with all these animals, but okay, I'll take
Okay,
your word for it.
it's a famous orca from SeaWorld in like the California area, I think. Yeah, I remember the
Uh, I've
as
heard
like
of the
we were
scandal,
kids,
of
like
course.
Shamu.
Yeah, I've heard of these like scandals of how they, attack people, but I didn't know what was going on there.
But yeah, zoology is an interesting field. It's just more of like I want to pivot more to marine bio. That also means I don't have to like actually learn how to swim again because I don't. It's been a long time since I've swam. I don't know if I can still do it. I feel like I should have like tested uh to see how I am like within the past decade, but I've just not been in a pool in like a decade, which is crazy to think about.
Well, I would say our problem is more so that we can't find something that we're ultimately want to stick with for the remainder of our lives. I mean, I'm in
Yeah,
the
are you
same boat as
pivoting a
you.
lot too?
I want to look for something in project engineering next, which is different from materials engineering, which was my previous role, because I
Mm.
think project engineering will get me more jobs and more skills that I'm interested in, more soft skills. So hopefully I can make that work in the coming months. We'll see what happens.
What do you have to do for project engineering? Would it be like chemical or is this more mechanical? Or are you thinking of
I don't think
project bioengineering?
I don't think it's a technical role. I think it's more so to pivot into project management later, is what I've understood. So it's more so like being the intermediary between different teams. So if I can do that for whatever firms, then hopefully I can make something of myself in the coming years.
Yeah, I do notice that like in like a lot of big pharma or biotech industries, when I talk to people, it seems like a lot of the grunts and the actual engineers themselves would get kind of forced on a project for like 10 years on like a pipeline that may or may not go to fruition. They just like have someone else beat them to market and it feeling kind of like
Well,
really degrading.
well, you're not supposed to stick on those for like years and years, I don't think. I think in our time, like you're supposed to stick for a job and get some skills and move along.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not to say that that's good or bad. That's not very, it's not very wholesome when you just are supposed to expect to abandon people on a project that's supposed to last a while, but that's just how our society is in the 21st century here.
Yeah, are you thinking of like pivoting in like 3 to 4 year like periods, similar to like school
Oh,
semester
I would
going to
love to.
school or
Yeah,
anything?
I think that would help me out greatly, but that's very difficult to do. I've noticed. I'm not having very much luck at it, I must admit. But I
I
can't say anything. I have to keep at it. That's the most important thing.
think there were some positions where I was looking for various museums in the city where they needed like skilled science educators and like scientists to design certain projects to display at like the Randall Museum or the recently was looking for some design like not quite exhibitions but something like shorter term than like a 3 month version of that. So something more like a 1 week like exhibition or like a seasonal type thing based on whatever like modern advancement in a certain field is becoming popular and making some way to like have a team create something that the general public can digest and like kind of like a design principle around, but also have like
Hmm.
some copyright for whatever that was. I was trying to find out what the name of the position was again because I was being referenced to it by a senior scientist, which is like the upper echelon of that position where basically what my mentor did that was like 200,000 like a year is where you're constantly developing new teaching lectures, exhibitions, exhibits, etc. for a museum and basically building kind of course curriculum for a museum audience
That's cool.
for
Yeah.
the entire year. And I was thinking like maybe moving towards that in my long term goal
Yeah, yeah.
because I can use a lot of like what I've learned from all the different fields I've studied in to kind of design all manner of different things. And unfortunately, before I got laid off, I only got like 3 months or so of like fabrication and engineering on the design and maintenance team when I was able to actually design my own exhibition. That took like two
Wow.
years of cutting red tape before I got shafted, unfortunately, because it took like talking to like 20 different departments to get the green light and getting so many different things signed off. And I would have potentially, if I got good enough at like using the laser cutter, 3D printer, and CNC machine and everything, been making an homage to kind of a mix of science fiction literature and of Italo Calvino, specifically Cosmic Comics, and that kind of like Where the Wild Things Are animatronic thing at the top of the Metreon when we were kids. Or I wanted to make some kind of like
Uh-huh.
storybook animatronic like interactive art of different kinds of like exhibits that would use your senses in different ways to have people from all over the world kind of empathize with a non-human narrator in a lot of these stories. Because the thing I really like about Cosmic Comics in the 70s is the Italian author Calvino writes from the perspective of this reincarnated sentience called QFWFQ,
What?
who I read as Quafuck
Yeah.
in my head, whatever. He's just like an amalgamation of consonants. He's meant to be like a hard name to like pronounce, I think, on purpose to make him seem that much more a human
Yeah,
in his characterization, but
that sounds
has
about
a lot
right.
of these kind of like themes of romanticism around the idea of this sentience that's lived for like millions of years in the cosmos, being reincarnated as like gaseous clusters and nebulas and what do you call it, entire galaxies, or even like the first like fish to walk on land or whatever he becomes at one time. There's a story called like the Aquatic Uncle, where he's like coming out of the ocean, he's a fish, and there's another one called Priscilla, where he's a cell that's in love with his daughter cell that he's split apart from, and then another one where he's reincarnated as a limpet snail that lives for millions of years trying to send chemical signatures to his long lost lover that he's never seen because he describes in great detail how he has no eyes but kind of senses the world around him. And I think that there's like a really nice beauty in literature that gets kind of forgotten a lot in museums where they don't really like emphasize science fiction literature that's just like really human interactions without having the need for just like a pure race or ethnicity or something for a human being during like the whole like huge PC revolution. I
Mm-hmm.
thought having like a story that could be universally accepted by people of all cultures as something that's just deeply human without having to be, and then making exhibits that like let you interact through those reincarnated stories and like read certain excerpts of those like passages to you, and then allow you to also like read them yourself in like a panel and then like interact with something that you like press a button or have some kind of like sensory deprivation chamber that you go into, like use your imagination more. And it was like really like in depth, and it's like a passion project that I've still been like drawing up blueprints and stuff every now and then for different things I want to add to it, and trying to find inspiration from all these different other artists I've been hanging out with. And I learned early on from a lot of those exhibit designers that like you don't make your passion project your first one. So the silver lining, at least, of me getting laid off when I was working on my first exhibition being the like one that I really wanted to make might have been a good thing because it means that I had more time to really think it through these past 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I made it better by having that extra free time. But I do need like to understand how to do like 3D modeling and stuff on the computer to like better visualize it to other people, and need like a design team. I need engineers. I only have so much fabrication skills. I need to build up some engineering skills by taking some classes. I know I'll also need to probably take some like 3D modeling and graphic design courses in order to realize it, as well as just like some more like maybe creative writing classes as well to make my own homages to it and baby stories or something that build off of it, so I'm not just plagiarizing. But
Uh,
like I'm trying to encompass all these different like skills from like the art side of my research and like museum studies, and then like my STEM focus, and kind of like bridge those together.
well,
And it's a lot, and I'm putting a lot on my plate. But I think before I die, I want to have like one good Gesamtkunstwerk, which is like this German term for like an all-encompassing work of art that's usually used for like dramas or theater.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I think it'd be like super cool to make like as one really good like tour de force type exhibition that gives me a chance to like show what I'm capable of and hopefully set me up with like a couple $1 million grant or something after like working along so many different designers and artists who sold $1 million art to the museum. Like I've seen some shit there. I'm like, I could have made that. That's $7.6 million just to rent it for a summer. Man, money laundering is crazy in the museum sector.
Yeah, that's
I would have been
actually.
happy with just like $1 million if I made that. Like this one RGB lit like paneling that was made to look like this Antarctic bridge of ice caps that got broken off.
It's actually not a
And
bad strategy, Michael. I actually fully support you undertaking
legit.
this.
And I'm like, I think I just want to make like something that's like accessible to the masses, a good uses my art like understanding. So I went to like 60 different museums around the world when I was a kid with my family, like minimum if I can remember off the top of my head. I understand good aesthetic values. I've been reading some philosophy of aesthetics and like the neoclassics as well to understand how to like make good art pieces. And I'm just like, okay, fuck, I gotta put it all together, and then hopefully I'll have enough money in my future to like support other artists and give them the opportunity to like do the same thing, like what Oppenheimer kind of wanted to do when he made the museum. The museum today is the shell of its former self for sure. The upper marketing team and management try to run it like a for-profit institution and kind of got rid of the original communist roots because Oppenheimer was a communist who was like literally estranged by the CIA and
Yeah, I saw
like
the
lived
movie.
on a cattle ranch and everything and like
Apparently, that is all true. That is wild to learn. I was amazed by that.
I used to have some of his old like physics textbooks. I know his notebooks that he used to sketch that even Christopher Nolan didn't have. But I lost it in the divorce with my partner at the time, and I was like, I want to go back for it, but like I don't want to risk creating this bad blood. Like I need that manuscript. Those are Oppenheimer's original journals that like I got given to me.
Uh,
Even Christopher Nolan doesn't have this shit for his movie, and I did. But I've talked about like his political alignments and stuff, and the problems with America that he was noticing after he was kind of frustrated in the '60s and '70s, while also having like different particle physics notes, stuff with quantum mechanics that he was like solving. That
no,
was super cool.
I would
I'm like,
kill to see that journal now.
I know, I wish I like they're deaccessioning their whole library in like 2021, I think. And they just got rid of so many books. And my family wouldn't let me keep bringing a bunch of them home, so I had to store some of them at my ex's house.
Oh my god, your
Because
family
I
threw
was
you under the bus. That is insane.
because they're just like, no, we don't want these old texts from all these various scientists in the 50s, 60s, and 70s or whatever that have been in a museum
Yeah,
library for like over 50 years or whatever. We
those
don't want all these books. It
those
would take so much of this library.
yeah, that seems like those, if anything, would be a phenomenal investment, even if you don't care about like any of the content. But if you do, then those seem priceless to hold on to. I would love to see some of these.
Like so I had some old like exploratory and cookbooks, which are essentially like engineering manuscripts for designing some of the exhibits in the 60s and 70s for their original ones.
No,
But
well, those
I
might be
also
a little
found some,
dated at this point, 50 years ago. But
but like seeing all the old like handwritten stuff with like certain capacitors and transformers and how to like put them together and like the stuff in their hodgepodging junkyard scrap into like some of the most famous exhibits on like the PBS documentary or whatever that they did. This is kind of cool history to have. I've been
well,
trying to make
yeah.
my room that I rent kind of feel like a mini museum with a little museum cabinet of like various little like art and SF history that I put in it and rotate throughout the week. Like inspire me.
Uh-huh.
But I definitely think that like there's a lot to learn from like the mistakes of other like exhibit designers in the past, and there's like some really like noble stuff that the old engineers in the '70s were doing. Or it was just like for the love of the sport that they were going in there and just like fucking banging together nails and 2x4s and drilling and shit, and we're like smoking joints and making crazy art. I like hella respected it.
Man,
Like the summer of love was crazy. Like people just dropping tabs of acid and teaching science at the museum.
Well, okay, I'm not.
expanding their mind.
I'm not really into all that stuff, but okay, good, good. It sounds like fun for
I
some
feel
people,
like
I guess.
they expanded their minds in different ways back then, where it's like you just don't get the same kind of like level of like detail now.
I guess, yeah, I can't
Like
really support
for
that.
a product of its time, the shit that they're able to do in like a very like communistic, progressive time period in America, or like
Yeah, more so than now, certainly.
I definitely think like with like civil rights around the same time and exhibits talking about like inequalities in society that they also try to like focus on and allowing more like scientists of colors to work there if they're like barred from other institutions.
I guess that was
It's an
progressive for
important
its
thing.
time.
Oppenheimer apparently bought the warehouse at the Palace of Fine Arts for the Exploratorium for $1
What?
on the pretense that he would give a certain amount of the proceeds back to the community by making it like open to the community as a public space, as well as giving a portion of the nonprofit proceeds to the city, I think, and promising to like bring people here in almost like a Columbia's World Fair type thing. But the original Palace of Fine Arts was built for in the 1890s, I think, or whatever.
Oh,
Or like put San Francisco on the map again
well,
for
the
like
city's doing
tourism and
fine
travel.
now, so nobody's complaining.
I think there's like some stuff I'm like, okay, how do I don't think I can live up to like these legacies of these men that I looked up to while like being a kid. But I want to at least try. And like fucking, I'm gonna hurt myself like mentally and physically, but I gotta like at least try to use all these things that I learned from all these various people
You're
and like really amalgamate it and like hunker down and make something.
you're
Something
doing
that
better than me, Michael. I wanted to be more of I wanted to be more of an advanced scientist myself when I was a teenager, but I'm afraid I've lost my drive and lost that dream, and now I'm just trying to get a basic, decent paying job and career out of that. My aspirations have taken a tumble in like the past 10 years, I would say.
you don't have to like give up on everything. I think it's just a matter of try to find ways to articulate your skills into something after you get some like funds for sure. Like I feel like I'm definitely making sacrifices now that are not gonna like be good for me in the future. I don't think I'm gonna ever be able to retire based on the way I've been living the past decade. The fact that I have like no retirement funds right now and had to exhaust most of them just to be able to like afford
What?
rent
I, I'm
and like
I wouldn't say that. I know some people who, I know some philosophy people who got jobs in tech just because like they could communicate like their like the philosophy of the code being written, like they could contribute to, tech firms in that way and they could make good money off of that. That's not to say that that's easy to do without a college degree, of course, but
yeah, I think
that
like English majors also tend to like do a little bit better right now for like just being sociable in like tech environments by having like good writing skills and like communication skills.
Yeah, I don't know how they do it. That is annoying to me that I have a freaking bachelor's in chemical engineering, but I can't freaking find a job all these months later. It's very annoying.
That's rough, man. I'm sorry to hear that.
Not fun.
I feel like everyone else is like better than me because I have like a bit of imposter syndrome where I'm like, fuck, I've done nothing. I like to have a piece of paper that says anything. And even my friends that do have the piece of paper that manage to do all the work are kind of also in similar positions. You're like, man, all this fuck, Jesus, what is happening?
I completely agree. I'm right there with you. I wish things were going better for us. The country needs a communist revolution. I say that without hyperbole. I can only hope that I have the strength and you have the strength to keep trudging on in the future, and I hope we don't get overwhelmed by greater economic forces.
Dude, I had this one friend that was stationed here as like a educator who worked for the Swiss military.
Hmm.
Apparently, it's like one of the few militaries that I'd probably be okay with joining if it was ever dire enough because they're neutral
Yeah,
and like you learn how to pilot a tank, fly a jet, and like shoot a gun and never had to do it again. I'm like, that's kind of sick.
Yeah,
You get
well,
stationed to be a teacher if you're the Swiss military versus like U.S. sends you to like another country just to like try to secure oil and like use you as a pawn for levying like new special interests and spheres of influence in other countries and killing their like innocent people.
yeah.
So
I mean, the Department of Defense needs to like have its budget halved. I mean, the budget is like $900 billion a year. It's completely insane. It needs to be halved, if not more. I don't know what the point of having allies is if we just pay for all their crap, but that's neither here nor there.
maybe it all kept up a little bit with that communist channel that I probably sent a video or two from the past year called Boy Boy, where
Uh
it's
huh.
just like these Australian um, like journalists slash comedians and engineers who just basically investigate various like far right politics and stuff and make fun of it in a way that's like a little bit better done than just like a streamer like Hassan or something.
Hmm.
But well, they did pretty good video essays and stuff, and they came to the like Bay Area 5 years ago or something after they
Oh.
originally went to like do a documentary on like North Korea by going there to get a haircut to basically uh, destigmatize the North Korean state as like a threat to America by kind of showing that like they're just people, they have like a different authoritarian government. Sure, there's stuff that's like bad with how it's run, but America has like 50 to 60 times more like nuclear warheads, like dangerous implements of war that we can use at any time, and we've actually fired a missile on a foreign nation in our history, whereas North Korea has never done that.
Yeah.
So like it's kind of crazy how
Well, good for them.
because they're also like Australian citizens from like the Sydney area, they're considered basically like a territory of the U.S. The U.S. basically has like puppet government control with the CIA over like Australia, and like in the past they've like had coup d'etats where they've kicked out two liberal politicians who didn't align with U.S. foreign aid policy.
Yeah, I've heard of that. Like, apparently Australia is kind of controlled pretty intimately by the United States, which is not really covered anywhere in the news.
Yeah, they pretend that it's like actually like ruling itself, but like they're technically like an American state, low key.
Yeah, I don't know how that works. I don't know how that's possible, but they do it.
But we treat them worse too.
Which, yeah.
But, no, I met them and talked to them a little bit at the Export Term, and they were doing like a talk.
Man, that's so cool. Oh my
And,
gosh.
like what do they call it? I used to play Overwatch with Alex from I Did a Thing, who's like one of the members who's on the engineering side, and I would get like advice and interest on like what he was building or whatever in his Discord or like various videos when he just like making weird inventions or whatever, and then I try to like go to work and work on the lathe and practice my metal cutting or woodworking and try to make some stupid ass shit for either like cosplay purposes or to see if I could like learn new skills for fabrication.
Man, you
But I
should have.
definitely think,
Back when you were doing this for the Exploratorium, meeting all these people, I'm just thinking, like, you should have had a YouTube channel and you should have, like, made videos of you hanging out with these people doing this stuff.
you know, it's such a missed opportunity. I lived life in the moment. What a fucking loser I was.
Oh, gosh. I don't want to put it
I
that
think
way.
sometimes I have the memories too, where I'm like,
Uh,
"Ooh, it's more worth it that like I didn't commodify it and like make these people feel like I was just using them for content. Because you know that was also like an issue with like the cringe nature of being a YouTuber at the same time. Like it's a fuck job being some kind of like journalist or content creator sometimes because you're always gonna get hate for it, and it's always gonna see like disingenuous at times. What's that guy? Clout chasing isn't always the objective, but it always kind of gets like a mar that you wear as like a scarlet letter when you're an online content creator. But I probably would have at least had a little bit of money to show for it if it like blew up.
yeah,
And I noticed that all the younger generations were doing it.
maybe I am coming at it from too much of a money chasing perspective. I'm just like looking at your situation now, and like maybe you would have benefited from that in the past to gain some sort of following. Maybe even if like you had 100 YouTube subscribers, that would be more than nothing. But yeah, like the hate, I don't really care about the hate as whatever. I played, you and I have played, League of Legends and CS:GO to know that the hate you don't really care about. You just put up with it. But the knowing of what did you say? The knowing that it's clout chasing and disingenuous. I don't know. I you just have to take that as it comes. Like every job description ever is like written as if you'll be anything but a cog in the machine. But I think you'll get one of those jobs and you'll feel like a cog in the machine no matter what. Because that's how I felt in my previous job. Like, and I read job descriptions now. I'm like, you're not going to be a cog in this machine with this job, and no, no, you certainly are. Let's not lie to ourselves here.
I think content creation is also hard. It's like it sometimes costs a lot of money to make something that's like higher production value for sure. You have to like move up to that.
That is
But
true.
also when you're first starting out, it definitely feels like hard to envision someone wanting to watch your take on something that there's already so many videos or
Oh, that
content that exists already too for that same topic.
really, I feel the exact opposite. I feel like the quality of content on YouTube, for example, is so low that why wouldn't they watch your take? Like yours, Michael's in particular. Like, why wouldn't they watch your take? Yours is just as good as like 90% of other content creators. That's why I started streaming. I'm like, I'm looking at YouTube video game gameplays, and I'm like, dude, I could do just as good as this. Like, oh my lord, I have no
Yeah,
excuse.
put that a little bit for sure. It's like I've been getting a little bit better, feeling more comfortable making stuff sometimes. And I was like starting with video games. It's like it's an easier thing to not show your face.
Yeah, you're
I definitely
already
have a little
making
bit of
those.
like body dysphoria where I'm like, I don't like having to like hear my own voice or see my own face sometimes due to my depression. I'm like, but I gotta fight that. Maybe ask someone else to edit it.
Oh,
If
Michael,
there's anything where it's like, I don't know if I want to like maintain anonymity and like not show my face at all, and maybe just go for my voice, or like go like the VTuber route. But that's like a whole other like can of worms. That's like sometimes hard for the software and rigging and shit.
oh,
Because like that also like does better sometimes for like because there's like weird people online right there like they're gonna potentially disagree with you and like try to come to your house and like kill you with a hammer. Like that gamer or whatever that like got mad about some guy in like an MMO or whatever that killed him in game and they try to like trace his IP address and murder him.
that
I've
was
gotten so many death threats from playing fucking competitive games. It's crazy.
well.
It
I
makes me like
didn't.
it happy that I have a VPN, but it also like I don't like people are crazy in this world sometimes. Or like how
God.
do I be safe while making content and shit? Because people can't just like pull up.
Okay, I
And,
think the
like, well,
probability of that happening is very, very incrementally small. But yeah,
yeah.
that's a thing.
But I
But
feel like a concern a little bit. Where like, am I thinking too much about this? Or like, well, maybe it is better to start with
I,
like not showing your face or like characteristics of like where you live just yet.
oh yeah, that's me. I haven't told people where I where I live and what I do around here. So
It's also like sad because like San Francisco is so cool, and sometimes I want to brag about being a San Francisco. But I'm also like online, people are just gonna come to my fucking city and be like, it is nice, and then like kill me.
yeah,
So much sort of living like such a like picturesque city, or neighborhoods or something sometimes.
hmm
Or just like doing field journaling and stuff in the like Richmond side, the Holding Gate Park, like a mile away from my house, and then like Baker Beach another mile the other way. That's kind of nice to be able to have like the Presidio and stuff around me, where I can like, go venture in there and see how like various fungi populations are doing, or see how like various invasive plants are faring against like environmental xeriscaping measures that protect like native plants and stuff with my botany friends, or check out local music in my neighborhood where I'm like, okay, I'll go mosh pit tonight because there's a $15 concert for four musicians. That's worth it. I could forego dinner tonight and instead save up money this week to have just enough to go out dancing. It's like there's so many like fun, interesting, like affordable city events. Like maybe shining a light on that is a good thing, and like spending a little bit of myself for once and like living my life instead of the past where I'd spend too much on like exes and partners or whatever to give them like experiences and like serve them. Where I'm like, okay, I haven't really like thought about myself or my needs that too, but I mean that much in the past few years. So I'm learning to be okay with that, and then trying to find a way to like not make it so much like lucrative afterwards, but at least like network and find other cool people in the city who are doing interesting things or whatever, trying to socialize and fight the social anxiety.
I hope you find them, Michael. I'm afraid I am not one of them. I wish I was one of them, but I'm a loser who is unemployed now. So I can't help you
That's the
there.
perfect time to go out dancing and meeting people.
Yeah, that is true. Actually, I do have more
Like when
time.
you're unemployed and like you feel so like anxious and like you gotta move or pace or something, and then you go see like live music and you just like dance your heart out. People are like, wow, what drugs is he on? I'm like, I'm on depression and social anxiety right now, and it's
Uh-huh.
hidden.
Yeah,
They're like the
exactly.
exercise guys.
Oh, yeah.
I think it definitely helped. Where like I was a little bit more like afraid to dance in public like a couple years ago after like my at the end of my breakup or something, and kind of depressed, and then slowly got more eased into it by getting invited to a couple concerts with some friends, and then I feel like over time, when you realize that some of these events are like so small, there's only like 100, 200 people for like the smaller events, and you'll probably never see those people again. You don't have to worry as much. It's kind of freeing. It definitely helped a lot with just like shaking out the tension and like meeting wholesome artists that like I would just spend like 30 hours a week on Spotify looking for new artists all the time and was like listening to like 2,000-ish new artists a year
Oh
and being like,
gosh.
okay, I'm gonna be on the cutting edge. I'm gonna find all the music. I'm gonna be a savant in this. I'm gonna study music like a goddamn fiend and find out who the new artists that are actually good and up and coming are now, so that way I can see them while they're affordable before they become like $200 or something for tickets.
Yeah,
Oh, this
yeah,
artist sounds like this other artist I like, and they're only like $10, $15 now. And probably a year or two, I'll call it. They're gonna be like one of the bigger artists. They're gonna cost like $500 a ticket. And I was like nailing it for like a lot of those, but like making those leaps while talking about it in my like friends' discords for like our patrician and book club ones. And they're like, damn, how's Michael like such a hipster who's like good at finding music and knowing when like certain artists are actually gonna blow up? If I had like if there's like a stock market for betting on which artists were gonna be big or not, that would have been like hella good day trading for me.
yeah. I'm
I feel like there's
afraid.
like weird like skills that I gained from like being in the art that are not that useful for anything else but gambling.
Well, you could be an agent of some sort or a manager,
Yeah,
somebody that picks out new talent. Like I imagine all this new talent that comes up, like Olivia Rodrigo has to come from somewhere. Somebody has to find them somewhere. That's how
yeah. I've been
Justin
trying to
Bieber
think about like
started.
scouting and like connecting some of these artists that I've befriended with like museums for public programs departments. But like they don't offer me any money when I do that. I'm like, God
Oh,
damn it.
okay. There's no point then.
I had to find some kind of like scouting agent job maybe because like I'm decent at like networking with people and like bridging them to other people that have higher positions that I've met along the way.
Oh,
I need to like at least like maybe use that for something. I didn't think of it as like a job for a while. I was just like, oh yeah, there's this other cool person who like works at Live Nation or whatever. Like my business partner for advertising agency, like the startup I've been working for the past few years. Just got Live Nation as a client. I'm like, dude, I got all these like underground indie artists in the city that are pretty good that are starting out. Maybe we can try to see if they might want to book them for like a small event or something, as like an opener. Can I get some kind of commission, please, for meeting these people and like, get it in order to network. Sometimes I have to like dance in the front row for like hours. I really go hard, burn a shit ton of calories for like an 8 miles of dancing, and then go up to them afterwards and like, yeah, your dancing was so good. I'm like, thank you. Now, before I proposition you for like a job, I want to let you know, I'm not even doing this for the money. I just think you guys are cool. Like I really like your art. I wanted to show thanks for like the show and everything by dancing hard. I have a business card. I hope this isn't imposing or anything. I'll give them a business card that's nice and just try to like be as cordial as possible and not like a corporate like chill or whatever that they normally probably have to deal with agents. But I feel like a lot of like business is just like making it till you make it. But also I just don't like overtly businessy people that are just like caring about the money. Actually, like I know what I'm talking about. I know art. I was a museum worker, and it's just hard when like you don't have like a real like large company behind you or anything. Yeah, I mean my friend's company's got bigger, bigger websites like the nicer Pornhub Plus.
Wait,
Actually.
what company are we talking about here?
The one that I made or that I joined, that's my coworker from the Exploratorium's photography and advertising agency where he takes photos like around the world for different gigs and has grown like a large amount of like clientele, like nonprofits, small businesses. We had to photograph like food on Grubhub and like whatever for different restaurants, headshots for like companies and stuff. Working a couple of like private events and stuff that I've done with him. But I only get like a couple days of work like a year sometimes because he's the CEO and usually already has some people. So I'm like, okay, come on, like I know we don't have that much money at the company, but like you gotta give me a gig or something, right? I need to make my rent, please. It's gotta be
Yeah.
something I can do. And
Why would they not
like one
help
of
you
this
out?
just
I would help you out if I had something.
sometimes there's not that many events that he doesn't really need like to split the money with, and sometimes he needs to pay other people like his editors, so he needs the money for his own photography on his own to then pay the editor to edit it. I'm like, oh, maybe I can edit it. I have the Adobe software, but like I'm not as fast as some of the other editors. They charge like it was like $250 to like $400 for the edits for a day.
Okay. That's
That's like,
annoying. I wish you could help you out. Oh my gosh.
but he said he had a client that like has like a new coffee company that's in Oakland. And he's like, you might need a barista for a private event. I'm like, I've never been a barista, but maybe if it's just a 1 day thing, how much is it? It's like I don't know, the gig work shit I'm doing is like it feels like doing side quests in video games sometimes, or like I'm getting tossed a bone. I'm like, fuck, dude, like I don't even know how to do this job yet, but I guess I'll find out. I'll learn how to do it the same day or like in the same week. It's like I'm a decent enough home chef, but it's just like
Mm-hmm.
it's so funny when I finally do get something it's offered. It's like, oh, it's only like these 2 days or something, and you have to go all the way. And somebody doesn't drive to on public transit to another city, go to this event somewhere where you don't know, you've never been before, find out how to get there, and then either like do gapping or lighting work or potentially make coffee for this brand new Vietnamese coffee company that has like a farm in Vietnam. It's like a small mom and pop shop. You'll do that. I even did motion capture recently in my underwear in like Fremont for $150 for an hour gig, where I had to like wear 5 different outfits for the metaverse. And straight up, like one of the outfits, they make you just wear like a pair of briefs. I just like did a stand next to other motion cap models in a room, wait my turn, like disrobe myself. I'm like, dude,
God,
tech works crazy.
that's weird.
Or just be like a room with like a bunch of like a attractive women and men, and like, well, Mark Zuckerberg's eventually gonna have to see my ass when he plays in his metaverse at some point, so maybe that's at least something I can do, like stick it to him.
That's kind of funny. Oh my god.
My
Yeah.
ass is gonna be fucking 3D modeled in the metaverse space. Then I lose a little bit of weight further, I'll be like, ah, that used to be my ass, but that's the old me. It's forever in the metaverse, and
That is
Mark Zuckerberg
so
has to
funny.
pay money for NFTs for it. Or,
That is amazing. Wow. That is such a unique
there's
experience.
all this weird gig work I'm looking on Indeed where it was like, okay, 1 day, $150, bring a suitcase with a bunch of couple clothing. I had to do like one with like a Witcher coat, and then one in like a suit, and then one in like maybe like just streetwear. And maybe like have 5 outfit changes. Then I was like done after like an hour, and then came back. And like the fucking side quests I'm taking right now, just to fucking eat.
Yeah,
It's better than prostitution at least, but it probably doesn't pay as much. I feel like I get more as a hooker. It sucks.
I think
They already
so.
made me take my clothes off in front of a bunch of people and then take photos of me.
Yeah, that is the sad thing. I would just encourage you to finish a bachelor's degree. Maybe that would help you out. Or maybe there's a job with the city of San Francisco itself that perhaps you could find.
I've been trying to see with their airport museum. I have one friend in the fencing club I go to that works as like a museum curator there. But he
Okay.
says it's like I've been in the queue for like 2 years now. He said it took him like 2.5 years before they responded to him. And then I applied
God.
to like the public library to be a librarian or like a library curator for their museums for like the works progress administration. So it's just like it sucks. Like the job markets for any kind of museum work is really like scuffed right now. Unless you're doing like tickets and admission, where I'm like, that was a waste of my skills. Like maybe I'll do it, but they tell you blatantly there's like no upwards mobility from those positions. They just like are working a cash register when you have like PhD knowledge of a bunch of different subjects, and you're like, okay, I'm delegated to taking admissions all day.
Well, from your point of view, there's actually a silver lining to that. You didn't waste tens of thousands of dollars on an advanced degree to just find yourself in that position. So,
Yeah,
like, at least you didn't spend money to get there. On the other hand,
Free City was a good thing. At least it took 8 years of college for fucking like $35 a semester, whatever the help fee was that they made you do. I did milk that a lot. I was like, I'm gonna take anthropology, cinema. I'm gonna take ceramics, learn how to make my own dishware. To at least have cups and bowls and stuff. I'm
look,
gonna make pottery.
I
That
miss
was
those
worth it.
days, but I knew, at some point, Michael, you have to move on, whether you want to or not. I had to move
Yeah.
on. I didn't enjoy moving on. I miss the days of being a kid and coming home, and it felt like it was a 3 hour workday I had, and I could just come home and play video games.
Yeah.
But even though you don't like it, you have to eventually move on. Just be honest
No,
with
I'm thinking
yourself.
about. I'm looking at like it's just org for like what Berkeley's requirements are now. I'm happy that it's like a little bit more lax for biology than it used to be. I don't think I need linear algebra anymore, so I can just finish like Calc 2
Good.
that I put off for so long.
Oh man, you you didn't have a fun time in Mr. Ring's class?
No, I had fun in that one. I just felt like the last times at City College for Calc always conflicted with like physics and some of the other things I needed to take for
Oh,
biotech. And then like the one professor that was providing it ended up being one bad for linear algebra or Calc 2, it ended up being a bad physics professor that I had. And I was like, oh, I don't want to speak with him. And that teacher like was phoning it in so much, I'm not going to be able to like focus.
oh man.
So I'm like, hopefully there's like a better instructor now. I feel like by after like 6 years of not taking a math class, I'm gonna be so rusty. I go back in. Like I
Well,
haven't had to use like that advanced of like math in a while outside of like astrophysics for like describing certain things with like NASA engineers to understand the Curiosity team's like mission and some of the drills that they're working on. And the other one where they sent that rocket into the moon to collect ice samples, like had track the trajectory and like set out a net to catch like water with sensors. Or even that I barely was able to like write enough notes to know exactly like the various like vectors and science for it. But I got the brass tacks of it, just for the broad strokes, with the right expression.
well, if it makes you feel any better, you probably won't actually use any of this stuff, so just passing may very well be enough. I regret in my materials engineering job while I had it, I never used any advanced mathematics, even though they had me take all this junk.
But it's kind of nice to be able to at least apply some of what you've you've learned into something.
Yeah, I agree. I was bummed out. I wish I could apply, calculus, but there was no math to do. It was all just laboratory experimental work. You just test materials ad infinitum.
You have like a lot of like shit where you're just like underneath the fumigation hood, just constantly
Exactly, yeah.
having to just store and repurpose and make certain chemical agents.
Exactly, that's what it was. Mostly adhesives and epoxy. Within adhesives, epoxies, and silicones.
For the few times that I had to do that, it was only the work that no one else wanted to do, which is basically transferring noxious aerosoling like um, demolding agents that were broken glass beakers or jars. So like it's toxic if it gets in your bloodstream, right? And they basically gave me broken glass to try to pour the remaining solution into like a jar with a like screw tap lid or whatever, while also trying not to cut myself while wearing gloves and get that into my bloodstream.
Like, Michael, that sounds extremely dangerous. You should not have
Yeah,
accepted that work.
under a fumigation hood, I think I got like 27 an hour to do that for like one day for like 3 hours straight. That was the I was just moving solutions in broken containers. And I was like, God, this is like the worst
Yeah, you should
like
not have accepted that
chemical
work. I
engineering
mean,
thing you could do.
the money should not have been worth it to you in real time. Like, you should have realized this is not worth the $27 an hour.
I didn't want to let my like bosses down. I was like, I don't. I'll be careful. I'm like, why did I choose to do? Like I'm clumsy as fuck too, and I'm surprised that even with like the fumigating, like mask and everything, and the hood going, like with my N95 and goggles.
Oh my lord. I mean, the fume hood makes it slightly better, but still,
Uh,
you should not have accepted that.
Honestly, I think like glaze chemistry for like ceramics is sometimes just as dangerous. If I dated a glaze chemist, and she'd come home with like cobalt oxides and stuff on her that are like highly carcinogenic and have to like decontaminate at the doorway
What the
by
hell?
shedding it.
She should
We'd
not
be
ever come
a lot
home
of
with
like
that.
metal oxides and stuff, and it would get stuck in her hair sometimes. I'd have to like shower to get it out.
That is also massively unsafe. There should be no
Mhm.
scenario in which she comes home like that.
Now the pottery studios in the city are kind of lax a little bit, unfortunately, with their safety procedures. Because we're like, it's alright, it's fine. But, like sometimes artists or also like chemists uh, don't treat the chemist part of the art studio as safely as they should. Like a lot of like ceramicists end up getting like white lung by the time they're like 40 or 50 because of all the silica that they're inhaling in the studio and stuff from all like the micro silica that comes off of the pottery when it's being fired and like sanded down and stuff. And then all the other like metal oxides that are in the glazes that have to be mixed up and a lot of them being like wildly radioactive for some of them, or like Fiestaware stuff where they had to use like certain uranium isotopes for certain like glazes to keep them in like a lead safe. So, it's a crazy field, dude. It's like really cool to see how like pretty and vibrant certain colors come out when you use really toxic equipment and like materials. But no, it definitely wasn't the best longevity based work for sure that both of us were doing with our jobs. I don't know, like me being a hypochondriac, just having to like dust her up and like decontaminate whatever potential things, make sure we didn't have any cuts or wounds or anything that certain metal that was like blood toxic would get into. I'm happy now that like at least the nature of my work isn't that dangerous. I even applying to like ceramic studios and stuff. It's crazy how like lace technicians are only getting like 25 an hour or something in the city for like part-time work with the like amount of toxic chemicals that they come into contact with, the high amount of like rigor and training you need to do that. Seems very underpaid in terms of
Yeah,
applied science.
yeah, I feel the same way. I handled chemicals at my previous job, and it felt like, hey, there's no hazard pay associated with this. Like, I earn the same amount of
Yeah,
money as everybody else at this level. Like, what is this scam?
and like some of like teachers or whatever will like at the ceramic studios who are not like making the hazardous chemicals will get the same pay as like a glaze technician, or like basically like a dollar more, and like the same health benefits. Like it's not equivalent to the amount of work you're putting in and the risk to your health that you're sacrificing.
Yeah, I've noticed. Um, I've noticed that in general the country seems to be in. This is not an original thought, but the country seems to be an anti-meritocracy. Like that is those who contribute the most to whatever organization they're a part of are paid the least. So those glaze technicians are doing the closest labor to the actual product being made, and they're paid the least. Whereas like the upper management and executive officers are being paid the most, but contributing the least to the day-to-day actual success of the firm.
So it's
I
definitely true in like other sectors as well, especially the museum sector for sure. When the
Yeah, literally everywhere. That is not limited to just that one
yeah,
specific example.
upper marketing firms just basically make like a shitty ad, it fails, they lose millions of dollars, and they're like, okay, time to fire all the scientists at a museum or whatever. Not the people whose ad campaign cost the most amount of money and didn't work.
Oh, is that?
Because that happened in Exploratory in like 2022 or something. They lost a bunch of admissions money because they had a failed ad campaign that they put on all the buses and BART stations and stuff that I think it was like the question mark ones where it was like, what the question mark? Like really like cheap and shitty. And then I remember like my bio staff or whatever getting cut 80% after it failed. And they're like, yeah, let's get rid of the scientists from UC Berkeley who are doing research and keeping all the animal specimens alive, and then make the remaining two people who are left do the work of like five people each instead of firing the marketing staff that
Uh,
made a shitty ad.
oh my god, that's the exact stereotype I've heard. Like the people are fired, they're never replaced. It's just the total work is simply now done by the few people remaining. It's a complete scam. Like that
Yeah,
that
some of the full-time employees were doing like illegally 50 to 60 hours a week sometimes to make up for the deficit and
dude, like
and workers.
well they should not have put up with that. That's a scandal. Like they should be like I got to get out of here. This is ridiculous.
I think some of them left, but some of them also just like needed to pay or whatever to find like another job and find.
I see.
Or I had been there for so long that like they already had tenure and it was held over them.
That's ironic. How was that?
Or they had like gone from like another institution all the way across the country to move out here for a job. And they'd lived in there for like a year or two. And they're like, oh, you get to stay, but you don't get to hire any new staff or anything yet as the head of the department and stuff. And they realized like vent with me and whatever about it when I would like volunteer just to help them out because I saw how like strapped they were, and I want to get paid to like clean out the tide tanks of like the anemones and stuff for the sea urchins and help them with like the zebrafish spawning tanks. Because I just do it on like my breaks, kind of illegally, because I was like too empathetic. I mean, like, no, but I live by like lab sites, friends there, the lab, and barely get to talk to them, and I'll get to talk to them more if I offer to help them out. And I kind of exploited myself as a worker, but only because like I knew that like the animals were not going to do well. They didn't have more hands on deck, and they were overwhelmed, and I could see it. It sucked that like I couldn't even apply to like fill in or anything or get another job because they didn't have any like listings or any opportunities for months after firing the last people. I didn't even get any like soft skills, but like being like an assistant or an apprentice or anything, or like a slightly lower paying tier. Because I think I applied to the bio lab like 3 separate times or 4 separate times while being there and never got it. And each time I tried to apply, like there'd just be more and more layoffs to that department. I was like, is this my chance? And like, oh no, they're just gonna fire more people instead of giving them another opportunity anyway.
Mm-hmm.
It's really sad because like the bio like part of the museum was always like super cool. Like had really interesting exhibits and was like really popular with the guests. But for some reason they just kept fucking it up by like firing people who made the cool art. Like some of the artists in residence who made like these giant diatom plankton and phytoplankton like towers that would have like air that would pump into them and agitate it and show like different like plankton samples and these chandeliers that were really cool. It was like a $2 million art piece. the artist who made that was also like a marine biologist who traveled around the world and collected like water samples from different like oceans and stuff. Um, I ended up getting fired after like the first like bad year of its revenue being like pretty low for the nonprofit. They're like, let's get rid of this person that makes like really cool attractions that bring in a lot of people, who works very closely with all the other scientists that has known them for like 30 years or whatever. I think the upper tier, and then like, I don't know, they made some really bad decisions of who to cut times that like made the museum suffer a lot more because like the quality of exhibits went down a lot after that, and like the exhibitions also were worse when we got rid of those people. Especially even the Thursday nights too. It used to be like the peak time when I started high school for like Thursday night exhibitions was like 2015 to 2018, where like they'd have so much set design and so much money poured into like making every week feel special and different and having a bunch of different artists residents come in, a lot of community members, including the bar. And then now, like most of those events just feel like it's just like a bar, a DJ from Oakland, and like that's about it. Like they rarely have like talks or anything. Because we used to do like 2 to 3 talks a night from different like heads of laboratories around the country that were like PhD candidates or like masters um, researchers in various different fields, everything from like dance, art,
Yeah,
anthropology.
you guys had it
Uh,
popping over there. You had some like parties like for tech people at Friday nights or something, right? With beer
yeah,
parties?
Thursday nights, and then I think there is a different thing for like private events when people rent it out. But the non-private events that were just like actual like normal missions Thursday nights that felt like going to like a mixer that was also like something for like the educated um, museum goer who's an adult who doesn't want like to bring their kids to the museum at night and have like a night out or something or a date night while also learning like really important new emerging research with like full hour-long presentations with like lab demonstrations and stuff. It's like really fascinating. It's like cool to attend, and then they like really stopped doing that after the pandemic and like barely had any of them because they quote unquote didn't have enough money in the budget. Even though I know that a lot of the $1 million parties I was working were paying about 70% of the museum's overhead costs.